It's the morning drive. This is Mirror Business FM. A new global report, it's Knight Frank's wealth report, shows the world's high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals are no longer tied to one home. Instead, living across multiple cities and driving a surge in long haul private aviation. Youssef Mouallem is Chief Business Officer at Vista. Joins us this morning to look at what this phenomenon means for global mobility, business travel, and the next generation of wealth. Youssef, good of you to join us on the show.
Good morning, Tim. Thanks for having me here on Mirror FM.
It's
great to connect and talk about this evolving marketplace.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. I mean, we often talk about the global village, don't we? But for the world's wealthiest individuals, that village is kind of spread across continents in real time now. What is it, first of all, Youssef, that's behind this multi-location living among the high net worth right now?
Well, Tim, what we're seeing is that the lifestyle of these ultra high net worth individuals has been evolving over the last few years, and this trend has been strengthening in the last couple of years as well, where we see the emergence of this borderless wealth, as we call it. So these individuals, they live in multiple locations. They run businesses in multiple locations. We see them having different homes in leisure destinations in some of the global capital cities. And as such, post-COVID, with the emergence of flexible working, we see these people working from these multiple locations. And as such, private aviation, business aviation has become a structural piece, a foundational piece of their lifestyle to connect them and move them around.
It's interesting this, because it's almost as though, and this report kind of suggests this, that being based in one city, if you like, is almost a legacy concept for the ultra high net worth. For the purposes of this discussion, let's define UHNWIs as those with $30 million plus in assets. But what we're seeing is people treating global cities as neighborhoods, moving between, Dubai, London, New York, wherever, for business and leisure kind of simultaneously. Do you think this is a permanent shift away from the idea of a single primary residence for wealthy people?
Yes, as you rightly said, Tim. So we're seeing them looking at these cities as a network. So they're not living in one location. And we're seeing this shift over the last few years. Maybe I'll take a second to kind of shed some light on Vista's history and role in this. So we're the largest global private aviation business. We've been in this for over 20 years now. We've been established in the region, headquartered out of the IFC for the last 15 years. And we've been seeing this rise since. So this is not something that just started yesterday. This is something that has solidified in the last few years. Looking at it from a regional perspective, we see Dubai has also anchored that, becoming a global destination. Dubai and the UAE, a global destination for capital, for investment, and a mega connector between East and West. What used to be the traditional transatlantic busy corridor is still part of the backbone of the business aviation and of such travel. But we see the rise of the US to the UAE, US to Saudi, Asia to the Middle East have become significant corridors of this growth. And with that, we're seeing people have got homes in New York or in Miami. Also, they've got residences in Dubai, and some possibly have residences in Southeast Asia. And they connect and fly between these different hubs. They run businesses from here. We see the seasonal travel as well. So in the summer, we see them flocking to the south of France or to Ibiza or to Mykonos. And as such, the long haul business aviation tool is part of the toolkit that is not just something that they use every now and then. It's a frequent use. And we see this repeat travel pattern between cities. So it's not that they're doing one trip. Actually, this is becoming a route that they frequent more often.
Okay, so it's not a new phenomenon, but it's a younger private jet phenomenon, I suppose. How is the rise of younger private jet users changing demand and expectations in your sector, in the aviation sector?
Yeah, that's a great question. So whilst we've been seeing that for a while, as I mentioned, it's accelerating recently, and we're seeing that the younger generation coming into this world, we've noticed over the last couple of years, more than 45%, about 47% of first-time flyers are less than 45 years old. And that's different to what we've had in the past. Probably we used to look at a 60, 65-year-old as general customer base. So this influx of younger customers has got a few implications. One, they're much more demanding in terms of flexibility. So they want to have that global access, and this is where VistaJet really excels. We cover 2,000 airports across the globe with our floating fleet, so our aircrafts are not tied down to a specific airport or to a specific base. We move them wherever the demand is, and as such, we could service such big demand. They are digitally driven, digitally native. They want to have access through apps, digital notifications. They want to be able to see the photos of the aircraft, the interior before they book. So all of that has also created a shift in the infrastructure that we've got in the business aviation. And on that front, maybe also taking a second to step back and say, how does Vista address this? So under Vista, we've got two big brands, VistaJet, which is our program offering, and that gives customers a dedicated fleet, which is all uniformly painted, kitted out, called the Silver and Red fleet of more than 200 aircrafts globally. You get guaranteed availability. So it's an alternative to owning your private jet without having to go through the pains and aches of and challenges of owning a jet, from maintenance to crew training, etc. And it gives you a guaranteed pricing. So there is price predictability. And then the other product, which is called XO, that's the XO marketplace. We have the largest global marketplace for private aviation, where we offer our own fleet, but we also have another 2,000 aircrafts that are approved, safety vetted, that we offer you on that app. So on the app, you could go in, check your routes, see the aircrafts and the options that are available. You will be offered instantly bookable routes. I mean, we guarantee the availability of the aircraft you're seeing, we guarantee the price that you see there, and you book. And we're seeing a lot of attraction for first-time users with this digital marketplace. So that serves as well to ease the entry into our world.
Okay, so people want you there when they want you there. They want the flexibility of global access. They want digital connectivity. That's, I guess, that's as important as physical office space these days. It's this working on the move mentality. Well, which particular regions? You mentioned a few there. I hear Mykonos all the time. It's changed since I was there in the 90s. But which particular regions or corridors are seeing the fastest growth, and why are they seeing that?
Yeah. Notably, I would say the fastest growth we're seeing is in the region. So your US to UAE, UK to UAE, and to Saudi, as well as Saudi domestic flying. So with the Vision 2030 in Saudi, we're seeing a lot of that Jeddah, Riyadh movement. And VistaJet was the first global foreign operator that was granted a license to fly domestically within Saudi. So we're seeing a big push in travel and in movement in Saudi, but as well, kind of the flow into the UAE highlights the big flow in capital into the region, and a lot of the infrastructure and tech investment that's been going on for the last few years. Our third, let's say, corridor that's shown also acceleration and growth is the Asia Middle East corridor. So that's also signaling a lot of talent shift into the region, as well as mutual investment and infrastructure opportunities for this corridor. And as I said, the transatlantic remains the backbone of the global business travel industry, but we're seeing these new corridors really rising. Some with, like, if we're talking Saudi, 300% growth. Routes into the Middle East, you're looking at plus 100% growth. When we look at our program-based, our subscription-based membership in the Middle East, we saw a 34% increase last year in new customers coming in and taking up these committed programs.
So, I mean, you're based in DIFC for what, 15 years? I think you mentioned just now.
Yeah.
So we've seen a real upsurge in private aviation playing, what it means for global wealth mobility compared to 20 years ago. The changes also in the demographic as well. Generally, what does this all mean for cities competing to attract global wealth and investment?
I think the change that this brings to cities is that you've got to look at the attractiveness as part of a network. So it's not like a city pair challenge. It's like you've got to be able to fit within an ecosystem that these ultra high net worth want to live in, want to work in, and you've got to be able to provide this hyper connectivity. Yeah, and this is also where I believe Dubai has played a fantastic role in becoming this global connectivity hub between East and West. And with Vista being here for the last 15 years, I think we've been capitalizing and we've been contributing to this development, where we see a lot of this this travel and this flow traffic converging through Dubai. So as a city, to be competitive in today's age and time for the ultra high net worth, you'll be able to allow them to access in and out and move quickly. And you need to be able to provide the lifestyle as well as the business infrastructure so that they could manage all of these aspects of their lives simply. Yeah. And again, I'll double down on how well has Dubai and the UAE managed such a transformation, and we've been part of the businesses that benefited from that and contributed to that. As you mentioned, Tim, we've been in the IFC and in the region for the last 15 years with our global HQ in the IFC. And we've got our operating office here as well that manages the region, that we've seen a five-fold growth in our staff base managing and supporting the region and capitalizing on this growth.
I think it's a fair point. Dubai as a hub, as an infrastructure center, the hyperconnectivity, the phrase you use there, this is the place, isn't it? I mean, the other side of this is, let's just look ahead a little. Population of ultra-high net worth individuals becoming younger and younger as well, projected to rise nearly 36% here in the UAE alone by 2031. That's 5 years. That's fast. So there's an opportunity in private flight demand, Youssef.
Absolutely. We've seen also this on a global level last year. So global flying hours exceeded 6 million hours, which was a 5% growth. And it's such an industry that's sizable. But as I said, we've seen a similar growth and probably faster growth in the region. So you'd see the region benefiting from that growth and that shift in lifestyle and demand, but at a multiplier there. And that will have an impact on across industries. Yeah. So business infrastructures, business aviation specifically as we speak, which has become a structural tool, a structural element, and not just an occasional flight that you take. And for players in this industry to really deliver at the expectation of this younger, more demanding, more discerning customer, you've got to be able to deliver on their expectations, I've mentioned. So the flexibility is key, the global access is key, the digital element is key, and being able to have options, let's say, for last minute choices. So we see these customers, they've got part of their lives are planned, but also they leave this element of freedom and flexibility that they wanna act on. And this is where we see the benefit of having our floating fleet globally, which when the demand surges, we could move the aircraft around. And it's not like this aircraft has to be in London and it flies out and back to London. No, this aircraft flies to wherever the next customer is. And as soon as 24 hours prior to the demand, we could mobilize the fleet and then be able to respond and address to these shifting demands.
Okay. Dubai has emerged as a place where infrastructure, I guess, shapes where global wealth settles, the UAE too, by extension. How are emerging markets influencing new travel and from your point of view, investment routes?
That is one of the things and the signals that we kind of pick up early, and we often find that business aviation is one of the leading indicators of these economic shifts, investment shifts. As we start seeing these investors and these ultra high net worth, they flock to where these opportunities are ahead of the masses, let's say. So you kind of pick up on these signals early on. And we've seen these corridors into the Middle East have strengthened significantly, signaling that shift. But equally, we've seen these corridors out of the Middle East into Asia and into Africa also strengthening in the last few years. So we're seeing these economies and these emerging countries becoming destinations as well, where capital and business people and ultra high net worth are moving into these places to build the next, let's say, the next wave of development and growth and prosperity.
Where the opportunity is. It's also a shift, isn't it, of away from kind of short hops to intercontinental, lifestyle travel. How significant is the growth in long haul private aviation routes, and what does that signal as well about global business patterns?
Yeah, Tim, actually, this is where we're seeing the biggest shifts and the biggest growth.
Right.
Historically, you've got these shorter hops, let's say, within Europe, within the US, or regional travel that used to be a big part of the business. But now, one with the industry development as well, like and the newer aircrafts, like our flagship Bombardier Global 7500, that could do flight from Dubai to LA nonstop. So one, the infrastructure and technologies, they are helping that, but two, the demand is moving to these long haul trips. So we see high double-digit growth in these in this sector, and we see a lot of business aviation companies rushing to get hold of these longer haul, bigger aircrafts. At Vista, we're proud to have the largest fleet of Global 7500, and we're the first to move into that segment. We have 18 of those aircrafts that are all being upgraded now to the Global 8000, which gives us additional range and fuel efficiency. So it's a growing segment. Everybody's racing to service that segment in terms of infrastructure, in terms of capturing that demand. And that's merely responding to the need of this customer base. As I said, someone that might have a house in Miami and a business in Dubai, and they've got some investments in Asia, and they want to be able to make these moves nonstop at ease with the flexibility they wanna have.
It's interesting because it's lifestyle travel. It's obviously luxury travel, but there is a change here in aspects of business travel as well. Because if you live across continents, the global boardroom has changed, and I'm wondering how you see the effect on this global boardroom phenomenon.
Yes. So businesses are borderless.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that the wealth is becoming borderless, driven by these individuals, and that reflects with our, let's say, business and business offering for the need to have access even while you're flying. So our aircrafts have got, call it the office in the fly. So you get connectivity. You could take run your board meeting on a video call while you're flying, moving across these cities and these global hubs. And you've got execs sitting in different parts of the world that either kind of fly in or then with this lifestyle connect remotely while traveling on board our aircrafts, and life continues.
And it's expected that life continues now. There is that technological expectation,
Absolutely.
Isn't there? So there is a generational shift here, and with a generational shift comes a change in attitude, a change in mentality naturally. Is the next generation of wealth, I mean, I guess obviously it's more mobile than the predecessors, but How does sustainability, a relatively recent term, and also technology play into travel choices that people are making?
Yeah. So on from the customer's perspective, we're seeing the new generation becoming a little bit more demanding and discerning in terms of understanding what's the sustainability agenda and what's the impact that the business has on the front. And Vista has been one of the early adopters as well of sustainability agenda, whether it is with our SAF fuels, bringing in some of the most advanced aircrafts, like again the Global 7500. It's the most efficient aircraft in the skies in business aviation these days. So we see that need, and Vista is responding by offering these solutions as well as offering carbon offsetting through our booking. But then in terms of the implications on businesses, you've got to be agile. You've got to be able to look at aspects of what is your carbon footprint, what's your greenhouse emissions throughout the whole business, not just with the aircrafts, but with your offices, with your maintenance facilities, and make sure that you've got audited reports on what is the impact that you have. I think that's one of the biggest things we've seen evolve in the last few years, getting a true picture of that and responding to it. And Vista has been very active throughout all of these verticals and playing its role. Pivoting to the technology piece. So on the one hand, we've spoken to Tim, how these customers expect digital access. They want to be able to see things in the moment. They want to be able to see the photos of the aircrafts, and our XO marketplace, the XO app, offers that. And we're proud to say we're the leading global player in that space. And we've harnessed the technology and AI to be able to drive that. So the ability to offer instantly bookable trips relies on a lot of data science and AI that we run in the background, whereby we look at aircraft availability. We've got connected schedules with hundreds of operators across the globe. So we know if the aircraft is available or it is not, if it's got maintenance downtime, or if it's flying for picking up crew. We use that data along with the demand signals to offer customers a price and an availability that literally within seconds you can book your private jet. So these have been some of the key emerging trends that we see on both sustainability and bringing tech to play to the forefront in this industry as a reaction, as a response to some of the needs and demands of our younger customer base.
The final question for you, Youssef, and it's the standard kind of future question, if you'll indulge me. How do you see global mobility trends shaping business travel and that intersection with luxury markets over the next few years?
We expect this trend to continue and even accelerate, with more and more customers getting into this borderless wealth lifestyle. Being able to have your primary residence in a location and have your business in a different location, have your multiple escapades throughout the year to your leisure destinations, and spanning from the west coast of the US through Europe, the Mediterranean, the Middle East to Southeast Asia. And I think just by thinking about this spread, long haul flying and long haul business aviation will continue to be a key player and a key enabler in that space from an economic perspective, but as well from a lifestyle perspective. And we continue to believe that Dubai in the Middle East is very well positioned to stitch that together and continue to play a global hyper connectivity platform in the space.
The world is shrinking, but the lifestyle of the ultra-wealthy is expanding faster than ever. Youssef Mouallem is from VistaJet. Thanks for joining us, Youssef. Good to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for having me, Tim. You have a good day.
This is Mirror Business FM.